Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us on a Tuesday night. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Marangolo. This is, thank God it's Tuesday. He's Tim Strachan.
Let's talk some Washington football team stuff.
Yeah,
we're hitting a dead period, but we can figure out stuff to talk about.
No dead periods in DC sports.
Slower.
And don't bring that up right before I bring on this guy, Kevin.
Well, because he's going to make it better.
I'm just saying. First of all, let me revert back. Did you just start the show with a namaste?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, well done. I guess. Is Riverboat Ron going to turn to Las Vegas to gamble on this quarterback situation?
Yes. The title of tonight's show on Hogs Haven. We welcome everybody from Hogs Haven for joining us this evening on the official Washington football team podcast of Hogs Haven. There it is, Kevin. You get a chance to see it. We are looking for you to help us out. Click on that First Amendment Sports logo. It's a free subscription. You get notifications. Turn them on. You'll get a chance to see when we go live with not just this show, but other shows and live sports events. We do cover a number of teams in the D.C. area, amateur and professional. You get a chance to see it all. We have some awesome deals in the offing, and it helps us out. Appreciate your subscription. Appreciate all of your support. Tonight's show is the Dudu Mendoza line of quarterbacking, and we're mixing analogies. We're going from baseball to football. For any of you, potentially some of our friends over in the United Kingdom,
fair enough,
for example, who might not know what the Mendoza line is. There's a young man named Mendoza who famously batted 200 in the major leagues, and it became like this: are you good enough to play in the pros or not good enough to play in the pros? Better or worse than 200? The Mendoza line. We have borrowed the expression for NFL quarterbacking, in case you haven't heard. The Washington football team is potentially looking to do something at the quarterback spot.
Above said line.
Hopefully living above the Dudu Mendoza line of quarterbacking.
Pretty much never aim to go below the Dudu Mendoza line.
That's correct. Kevin, will you close that door?
That's probably the first step in success.
You know, I just don't appreciate how T says the doo-doo, Kevin, and then you're like, can you please close the door?
Can you close that door?
Because this is the same exact conversation I have at my house. I don't know how else to describe this, but I hate feeling left out.
Don't be like, you stay inside when you close it, or just kind of look. Yeah, there you go.
If I close the door at home, that means you know the rest.
It's gonna open.
So, but if I close it.
It's good. Perfect. Awesome. Now we're all cozy and hanging out. Let us know if he just turned off the feed. If you can't hear us, it's all Kevin's fault.
Or if there's anything on my hand or thigh.
That's correct. And there's nothing.
What?
Absolutely not. And it's cold here, too, Robert Cohen. Appreciate you, James Rainey, Greg Martin, AGH, Kevin. Help me pronounce this name. I always get it wrong. Go Hagen. Every week I try to pronounce it a different way. And I said, this week I'm just going to let Mr. Ricka take care of it.
Gagan.
Our good friend, obviously, E.O. Anderson.
That's Kev, man. That's my guy. It's Gaithersburg's finest team.
If I miss saying your name, Rhett Donnelly, Brian Sanders.
Man,
appreciate everybody.
Sanders and Rhett.
Everybody, Nasta. Let's get things started the right way. First things first, Washington has two quarterbacks that they're entering the season with that they feel good about, Kyle Allen and Taylor Heineke. And
Heineke.
It's the emphasis.
Emphasis on the last syllable.
That's correct. We don't know about Alex Smith yet. I've taken the liberty of suggesting
the word is he wants to play.
He's going to retire. The word is I'm wrong.
Oh, no.
So my top of the show thought is a quarterback room with Alex Smith, Taylor Heineke, and Kyle Allen gets it done for me on a number of levels. Number one, they all can execute this offense, which is the most important thing. Number two, none of them are taking up a ton of money the following year. Number three, if we bring in players via free agency in the draft, they won't be stunted in their growth for one season with any of those guys at QB. And all it does is it puts off for another 10 months or so the job that still needs to be done, which is find a guy. And Kyle Allen and Taylor Heinicke are welcome to be on this team forever, and we need them. We need guys like that can play. We still need a guy, and I think that needs to happen over the course of this and next offseason. If it happens this offseason, great. I don't see it happening this offseason. But if it doesn't happen this offseason, it has to happen next offseason. The Alex Smith, Kyle Allen, Taylor Heinicke room is a little boring. Let's not spend the tonight show on that.
Disney didn't get the ending that they've always wanted. So if Disney has anything to say about it, Alex Smith will be the quarterback.
I'm going to go ahead and anti-Disney this whole scenario and say that I hate when people say, like, call themselves their name and go, Kevin Ricka thinks.
Kevin Ricka.
So I'm going to go ahead and say this asshole thinks this.
Mm-hmm.
Alex Smith needs to be somewhere else. He was not supposed to be our starter last year.
Don't be the bad guy yourself. I think that's what's going to happen. I don't think you're wishing that.
No, but I am wishing that.
I think if he says, I want to come back, I don't think he's going to be here.
It's the wrong place for him to come back in 2021. It was the only place to have him in 2020. I love that. Everything about it was amazing. It's amazing. He should be on a team that has a chance to contend as a guy in a building that's not an upstart, that doesn't rely upon him to use his leg or legs.
But
I'm
also,
not sure how to word it.
We're about to, I think, enter into discussion of bringing somebody else in here, whether it's free agent and or a rookie. No one carries 4 quarterbacks, much less 5.
No.
So, you've got Kyle Allen, you've got Heinicke, who's
we
signed.
have Heinicke. Kyle Allen
that's
still
2.
Has to be.
Alex stays. That's
Tad
3.
bit.
So one of those 2 aren't going to be active unless they carry 3.
But
what if you bring somebody else in?
But the priority isn't such just because it's written down on paper. We'll figure their situation out.
Kyle Allen would be on the team
All
before
I'm
Alex
saying
Smith.
is get Alex Smith out of town, and I hate to say it that way because that's not what I mean, but it's true, and sometimes you have to say it.
So
Alex
we'll take
Smith
the $14 million. We'll take the $14 million this year. We love to spend it this year. He doesn't change the fact that Scott Turner and Ron Rivera want Heinicke and Allen, no matter who else is in that quarterback room. Those 2 guys are
and
ones
I
that
love
they want.
that.
That's right.
I do love that.
So let's talk about guys who, and I'm sorry, Rob, I don't think we can trade Heinicke for a high end anything. I don't think we can, I don't think we'll be trading him first and foremost. But the idea that there's a couple, let's say there's 3 names right now, not including Deshaun Watson, not including Carson Wentz, not including a couple guys who have names in this league.
Doo-doo blasters.
No, Dookie blasters, right? Whatever. I forget. What do we say? All
right.
Give me one guy who's above the Doo-doo Mendoza line.
Dookie is Mark Sanchez.
Okay. All right.
Doo-doo's
is nicer than
Josh
Dookie.
Johnson. Yes.
Doo-doo's nicer than Dookie.
Yeah, if you get Dookie blasted, that's like a sudden, quick, oh God, like when Ken and I showed up with my son.
It's like a karate chop.
And Mark Sanchez had walked into said building with a tiny dog in his pocket
and a little tiny
and
dog
led our
purse
team
with a
day.
scarf. It was more of an ascot than a scarf, and he was not wearing socks. Shoes without socks and a tiny dog purse. And he was playing quarterback for us that day.
I've never wanted to choke an ascot worse in my life, but anyways,
let's avoid that at all costs.
There's some guys to talk about that could be realistic.
Mariota, Carr, and
that sit on the Doo-doo Mendoza line.
So
kind of on the top of it.
Well,
so here's
on the line in Vegas means something different. And that's where we're trying to get Carr Mariota.
Dude, you're just rolling me away.
Sorry, I was getting very comfortable.
Here? You're just like it's like 1950s office here. You're just like spreading out. I don't know what you're about to dictate something. I'm gonna have to take a memo. Here, Mariota, Carr, and there's a third guy.
So Darnold
Darnold
Sam
hasn't
Darnold.
left.
That's right.
Darnold
And Dalton.
hasn't been flush yet.
Not Dalton.
You
Dalton's
added
below
Dalton,
the Mendoza line.
And I said he's part of that. Well, you have to have the I have him below 2, but not right away. You're like, yeah, put him below the line. Now we've done that. So I think we're good at 3. But don't you think Dalton
I mean, the Dalton experiment didn't work in Dallas. Why would it work here?
There's no experiment.
with the $100 million receiver that we
Dalton
tried to sign?
2015 version would be okay.
No.
Dalton 2020 version, not so much.
Yeah, well, that Riley bunch of Reds was firing pistons in 2015.
I'm not
2021 now.
a believer in. I mean, I'll take Alex Smith over Andy Dalton if we're just saying how it is.
Absolutely.
If we're going to have Andy Dalton, we might as well just have Alex Smith
why do all the switching around when
to
you
come
can
back
just
with
have
the
them?
big red machine. So let's
Two
say
full legs.
Andy Dalton is below the Dudu Mendoza line. I think of Derek Carr, Marcus Mariota, and Sam Darnold. Let me ask the first question.
Storm at 3.
Is Sam Darnold above the Dudu Mendoza line of quarterbacking?
Yes. I think so.
23 years old. He's played in
Of those 3, I think he's highest above the Dudu Mendoza.
Oh, you're nuts. That's where you're
I don't
nuts.
believe
he hasn't
that
done
at
a
all.
damn thing for
I
the
know,
worst
but
team in
his
football
youth
for 3 years.
and his potential.
So that's the deal. The idea that he hasn't done anything right or wrong. It's kind of like credit. It ain't bad credit. There just ain't no credit.
There's no credit. I am not a Darnold guy. I'll say he's above the Dudu Mendoza line, but he is
Only because
not.
we know nothing flushable about him yet.
And he's going to cost
hasn't
money. He's going to
failed.
cost us too much, I think.
Well, so there's ways around that for 1 year. But
For
yeah,
1 year.
to be
He's
fair,
23.
to be fair, if he has to, so it's all about timing. If the Jets do it now, which is good for the Jets,
Yep.
the signing bonus kicks in, and that's for the team who assumes the responsibility.
Yep.
And once you assume that responsibility, that means that they've already decided whether or not he gets his option year, which is damn near $20 million.
Yep.
I read this today. For former top 10 picks, specifically like Darnold, the fifth-year option is equivalent to the salaries league transition tender. Shit, that's between 20 and 25 million, fellas, at
Yeah.
the quarterback position. So Sam Darnold, if we accepted the 5th year, if we said, yes, we'll do that, we'll work that, we'd like his 4.7 this year, it could be another 20-something next year. That
Yep.
gets us in the 2-year, $25 million range, say.
My problem with that contract is if you get Sam Darnold for that blows up everything I said at the top of the show. Because
Right.
then if you have a $27 million Darnold in the next year, then you're not out trying to find a $27 million guy outside of him.
2-year, $27 million.
Yeah.
2 years.
Yeah.
4.7 on the hook with another bonus about that same, depending on when he gets the trade. So, hey, look, it's very creative for a guy who hasn't done shit wrong or done shit right and has
Yep.
the ability to not be a poo stain in the underwear of the third-year draft.
We're really,
on a team
we're really
that
going
can't-
all the way on this
I
one,
know,
which I
but
love.
they
I think
can't. What are
Well,
they going
it's
to
just
scrub
a
it
shitty
on a washing
conversation.
It's a
board?
shitty conversation.
Well, we're
I
talking about
know.
a shitty quarterback, to be fair, who's at the top of your shit list.
Well, let me say this one thing about Sam
it's a fair
Darnold.
list. It's a fair list.
So the problem that the Jets have is that the whole world knows they want to draft somebody, and anyone who knows the situation as well as we do, I want to meet him because the league has had formerly the Washington Redskins, over their knee for quite some time. Under Vinny Serrato, under Bruce Allen, we've made move after move after move that made no sense. The league took us behind the shed and whooped our ass. The Jets, anyone who jumps to make a move on Sam Darnold is, to me, first of all, bailing out the Jets, which is unforgivable. And secondly, it's not taking into account that they're going to have to either eat some of that money or just release the guy.
Well, hold on, though.
Yeah.
See, that's the issue where we become relevant.
Yep.
They save about less than $1 million by releasing them. There's nothing in it for them. There is no reason for them. They're legit. I think it's $920,000
if they release him. So, T and Kevin, I'll offer you this. This is my last Sam Darnold thought. If you guys have more, feel free to bring them. But I think the value of Sam Darnold to us isn't Sam Darnold. If the Jets try to get rid of if they try to get rid of Sam Darnold the way the Rams got rid of Jared Goff by packaging him in, if they encourage some team to take Darnold off their hands and thereby save them a bunch of money, they might have to give us a draft pick or a player to take Sam Darnold, and that could be interesting to me.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what it would take. I mean, the Rams had to help Detroit swallow that Jared Goff contract, which was just disgusting.
There's so much disgusting in the league.
Maybe a third rounder?
You know that somebody's going to come in and clean up that mess before we drop that bounty Snyder on there, because those days are over.
I think we have a chance of picking up something. If we, again, I don't want to do it, but I'm just saying the only thing that makes sense to me is if they give us something to take him.
So am I wrong to think that we've spent too much time on a guy that we don't know shit about, and no one could possibly, unless they work for NFL Films or the Jets and have been at practice in freaking Long Island, could possibly understand? I think the passion of Sam Darnold for us Washington football fans is that he hasn't messed up too bad, and he's cheap enough because he hasn't done anything too great that he isn't terrible.
We don't want Darnold.
That sucks.
I
think we just hashed it out, and we kind of figured that unless he is, I did. I got my headphone twisted in my office chair.
Something's going on down there.
Help me out.
All right, you're good. You got it. You got it. Our engineer is currently all set. All right.
Is there other quarterbacks we can talk about?
Yeah, not taking a player from the Jets is the reward unto itself, because we're not emboldening and biggening and bettering our culture by bringing in something from what could possibly be a trashier organization than us, as Kevin really, really works hard at that wire that's getting into his chair.
I've been booby-trapped.
I've been booby-trapped. That's just amazing.
You can't blame Sam Darnold for Jets.
I think I blame Sam Darnold for what's happening over here on this chair.
I can blame a quadriplegic for tying my microphone off his chair. I can do anything I want. Should I just stay down here?
Oh yeah, we almost got some whale tail going up there. Is somebody flossing? I don't almost see that
side.
I'll tell you right now.
We might be
What
getting
I'm looking at ain't much better, homeboy.
I'm just saying. I'm keeping it down low. You're bringing it up top. All right. We're all back in. We're all back
here. The algae always rises to the top of the pond.
Let's say we're not getting Darnold. They're not giving us anything to make it worthwhile.
We're still talking about Darnold.
Before we go to our other two, the board's bringing up
there a little bit.
Gardner Minshew. Is Gardner Minshew on anyone's list?
Reds.
No. Well, what list are you talking about? Like,
how about
above the Mendoza
cool
line?
Guys I'd want to hang out with and have a beer with, or guys quarterback my team?
No, I don't. That's a whole different show. A whole different show, and I don't even know if it's on this network. The list of guys.
Gardner Minshew looks like a cool dude to have a beer with.
It's on the awesome Dong Cuts network.
This isn't the Men Seeking Men
like
channel.
Why does everything got to be sexual with you
with
guys? I just want to hang out and have a beer with a fun dude.
What happened sexually?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I thought you were
Are you okay?
I thought you were.
This is a safe place. We're in the trust tree.
Just because
in the nest.
Just because you think Gardner Minshew is a fun guy to have a hot dog with does not mean that Ken and I said anything.
He was asking if he was on my list. I want to know what list he was talking about.
You mentioned the list.
Do I.
Next week's show, we're just going to put the list right on the screen and just going to right at the top, and everyone's going to understand
Seems
it.
like a fun guy. I don't want him as my quarterback.
Okay,
all right. So
Kevin.
here's who's fun. Kyle Allen's fun. Taylor
yes.
Heineke's fun, and Gardner Minshew's fun. So that's not Band of Brothers. That's a pretty fun group.
If you had to pick between Gardner Minshew and Ryan Fitzpatrick, who is
Gardner Minshew,
hands down.
Hands down. I would not even acknowledge the rest of the conversation.
Okay, I'll be there.
Are we
not based on these two in a vacuum? Based on being a Washington football fan.
Are we basically playing marry, kill, Netflix, and chill with the quarterbacks?
Who wants to go back to humping dudes? Who wants to go back to the humping dude shows?
Once again,
I didn't say I wanted to. I said it sounds like we were doing. Would you rather have so-and-so or so-and-so?
So there was a game we used to play in the basement. Some of you guys remember what it was called.
Right.
I'm just going to.
It was on a podcast. It was on a podcast.
That's right. That's right. It was on a show. It was a show segment, not a game we used to play in the basement. You know what? Stay around for the uncut
the tape and put
finished
on
part of the
show.
Forever. Marry, Kill, or Netflix and Chill. That was what it was called. And Kevin is putting his book away. No, Gardner Minshew can play for my team, and I would take Gardner over Fitz. And I don't have, and I love
So
Fitzpatrick.
you're saying Gardner Minshew's above
The Juju
line.
Mendoza line. Yes,
Yeah,
I do.
well, you ain't paying Gardner Minshew. You have to pay Fitz, obviously. And we already have, I believe, Fitz. Taylor Heineke. We saw what he did to our football team. We saw how he affected everyone on that sidelines, from Chase down to the damn guy squirting water in people's mouths. The energy.
Everyone loved it.
We have that.
That's magic.
That's what magic is. That's what Fitzmagic is. You don't bring Fitzmagic into your franchise at this point in time to start. No, that's the dude you bring in when all the shit's going wrong, and you
Which
need a
was
little
like
spark.
4 years ago. He
Right.
should have. He absolutely should have been our quarterback
ahead
after
of Sanchez
Kirk
or
Cousins,
Johnson or well, yeah, of course.
without a doubt. Yeah. So
And I
our
love him for
Fitzmagic
that.
moment is over.
Yes, as a franchise.
As a franchise,
Not because of him.
it's past us. So Gardner Minshew would definitely make our quarterback room better. I do agree with that. I don't know how he ends up with us. I don't know the path to that. To be honest with you, because the Jacksonville Jaguars are in a very similar situation as the Jets. They are already, eyeballing their next, girlfriend, and they haven't
It's
broken
Trevor
up with their current
Lawrence,
one.
isn't it?
Yeah, it's going to be Trevor Lawrence. So they're going to have, their hands are
So
tied.
they have a situation where they bring in Trevor Lawrence, and they
Yep.
can play him right away if he's ready. They can play Minshew and bring him along. I mean, why would they get rid of him?
You get rid of, when you bring in a Trevor Lawrence, you get rid of everybody, and you play Trevor Lawrence, I think.
So right after you draft him, you take your pants off and you throw him into the river, and then you have a party with whoever's nearest.
You don't need pants for this party?
I don't think so.
I think you might.
I haven't worn pants in.
I'm not just
11
willy-nilly
I'm
throwing my
keeping
pants in a river.
on. All right.
Rhett Donnelly is not in favor of just throwing your pants into the river, and I'm just saying he is an expert on pants.
Does he know shit about rivers?
No, he doesn't.
Well, neither do
No, he
I.
doesn't.
I
No,
was
he
just
doesn't.
hoping for some information.
Let's see.
I know this: if you don't eat lunch or dinner, you shouldn't show up here all that much often during February.
No.
Well, we haven't even gotten to the most
I know. I wanted
probable
to get some of those guys
doo-doers.
out of here. Let's
we
do
talk
David
about
Carr.
the what-
Let's
okay.
do David Carr.
Okay, all right.
And Derek Carr, not David Carr, Derek Carr. And Derek Carr, first of all, dude. And second of all,
Let's not do either of them. Let's
just
talk about
the
the younger one.
the younger of the Carr
Jesus
brothers.
H. Christ.
Derek Carr is above the Juju Mendoza line. He can absolutely play for my team. He is accurate. He can execute
I feel
the
this
offense.
is different from what you two were saying just a week or two ago.
Well, no,
I haven't said
say what?
anything yet.
What are you talking about?
So you must be talking to Ken, because I haven't spoken about David Carr yet, or Derek Carr yet, or ML Carr.
ML Carr. That's
or
right. Any
my
other
car,
cars?
your car. I don't know. That was good, though.
I'm in
right?
love with my car. That was a Queen song, wasn't it?
Here's the deal.
Go ahead, bring it.
Here's
Bring
the
it.
car deal. Mm-hmm. Too much. It's going to cost too much.
It's way too. You committing to a guy.
We're not giving
For a
up
guy
two
who I
first
feel
rounders.
every year is going to have a breakout year and
Yeah,
just doesn't.
I know.
So I agree with that statement. May I say something before you say something? I agree with exactly that, but I feel like he's getting closer every year, and he's done well. And I wrote that down today, T, because I just wanted to guess what it would be like. The Washington football team threw for 3,465 yards this year. Derek Carr had 85 less attempts and threw for 700 more yards. Obviously, it's an upgrade. Is 600 yards with our shit show of quarterbacks last year worth 2 first-round draft picks?
No.
I don't think so.
No.
I just want to say one thing about him real quick, who also, you know how the lefties have the sweetest swing, jumper, pitching motion? For a righty, Derek Carr throws the football.
That's what draws me in.
It's so beautiful.
It draws me
It is
in.
the most lefty-righty motion. It's the most functional. How it spins, how it comes off, the way he puts touch on it. He's a tremendously talented guy. It's just not our pace.
I love
We're not,
the way he
we're not
throws
ready
the ball.
to give up 2 firsts for a guy that, like T said, he's been on that 11 through 19 place for a while.
Yep.
He hasn't busted in.
John Gruden, who's the quarterback guru, went in there thinking he had what was potentially the best quarterback in the league, and he has not done anything to make Derek Carr really move up that list, in my opinion. I think
Derek Carr has not done it, T. You're
No.
100% right. And as much as I love way he throws it,
not for one first round.
he also
No, certainly not for that ransom.
he also strikes me as kind of a weird dude. In like when he's mic'd up, when you hear interviews about him, when you see like the manner in which he talks to his teammates, some of them are, some of them
Tad bit flimsy.
I don't know how he really truly commands what he thinks he wants to be commanding as the leader of the team. I think he forces it, and I've played zero, games with him, and I've spent 0 days in the locker room. But at the same time, everything you see is got this weird demeanor. Am I the only one?
No. It seems like his brother went through this league years ago, got the shit kicked out of him, and they computerly regenerated the same man to deal with the toughness and be able to throw it a little better. But he just doesn't seem like a guy that you want to go have chicken wings and a beer with.
No. He wants to talk the talk so bad, but he doesn't. But it feels like he has.
Would you go have chicken wings and beer with Minshew?
Definitely, but only a
I would.
hot dog in this scenario.
Like Lizzie?
Okay.
Minshew and I do beers. We do wings.
Yep.
But, Carr, just a hot dog.
I'm just Antoine Carr, by the way, another big time Carr. The Cars as a musical group, we didn't go there.
Just what I needed.
Yeah,
right
just
there.
what I needed. So if anyone else has any Carr references, we
Brendan
appreciate
Carr, commissioner at the FCC.
without a doubt.
Yeah.
Good thinking there, T.
You're all I've got tonight, T. Keep it rolling, brother. I love that, man.
All right, so I'm as much as I love watching Derek Carr throw the ball, and it's pretty and it's awesome. I do not want. I don't. Cause, here's the thing.
This ain't 7-on-7.
And it's not 7-on-7. I don't think he fits the culture that we're building here. I don't. I think we're developing a tougher culture than what Derek Carr is.
I see where you're headed right
not
now.
The Bachelor.
I like it.
It's not. It's You don't. I don't think he fits
Not The
into
Bachelor.
what we're up to. I don't think he is the guy who comes into our locker room and figures out what role he's supposed to be and gladly accepts it. And he's in that regard, he's not the person. And I think to me, culture fit has to be like a huge deal. Huge
May
deal.
I just say this?
Please.
The quarterback culture fit. Everything you've said is perfect. Everything T's agreed with is. I'm sitting here watching you two. The culture fit is perfect for not Derek Carr.
Not
ever.
Derek Carr. Yeah, no, it's not. He has to go somewhere
We
else.
are different. That's it. That's all. It's nothing against him. He throws a beautiful ball. And by the way, guys, he's had one of the worst defenses in the league since they arrived. So he's getting these numbers done. And 27 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. It's right up our alley, just not for 2 firsts. Terrible ransom. The guy can play a little bit.
He absolutely can.
He just what right now we're looking for is that bargain basement mediocre just above the Dudu Mendoza line. And that's exactly where he resides.
Yep.
But his ransom, that's some expensive shit.
And is the Super Bowl in Vegas next year? Is that right? I think
believe
it is.
was. It was supposed to be. It got moved.
It got moved. It's one of the next couple of years, and that's another big reason why Vegas is making such a big deal. They can get a couple of these picks. They don't think Derek Carr is the guy that's going to deliver them to be the next team to play there in their
if the
home
team that has
stadium
him
in the Super
doesn't
Bowl.
think he's going to be. Why would we think he would?
Right. And when you can
Yeah.
put Justin Fields' whole picture in front of that new Death Star Stadium in Las Vegas, and it's not Derek Carr
I
or
know.
a washed-up guy from the Polynesian Islands who we're about to talk about.
So, but right, the last
Whether or not he is washed up.
the
is what we're about
last
to
Derek
talk
Carr thought to me is a positive one because I think John Gruden is just like all of us in the fantasy football sense, in the armchair GM sense. He loves to spin the QB carousel. That man loves to sign new quarterbacks. He loves to change it up. He is your classic example in the modern era of an offensive-minded coach who thinks he is responsible for a quarterback performing well in the league, and he'll take talent, but he thinks it's him, not necessarily the quarterback. And if he's not sold on a guy, he's just ready to bring the next one. Remember, he had like 4 or 5 quarterbacks at a time coming out of Tampa at the end.
He steals them on the streets.
Yes.
He strips them at the chop shop, and then it's Too Fast, Too Furious, wherever else they. But I know this, they scatter. He loves to slice and dice quarterbacks.
Yes, he does.
I guess he makes them all better men at some point. But really, what he does is he goes through them like bounty paper towels. It's ridiculous. And he is the quicker picker-upper. He always stockpiles them.
He stockpiles quarterbacks.
He wants them to look at each other and be shitting in their pants about each other while they're already shitting their pants about him. I don't like the approach. I think people do better outside of that. Brad Johnson had already been Brad Johnson before he went down there and won the Super Bowl. Damn, we got rid of him.
I know, we should never have done that.
Or the guy he played against in the Super Bowl he won, Rich Gannon.
Rich Gannon.
We also should have gotten rid of.
No. Or the guy he took over for, Jeff Hostetler. We actually had
Or
him
the head
as well.
coach's brother who became our coach, or the other coach who lost who became our O-line coach.
Derek Carr is going to play in the league for a while. There's not 32 awesome quarterbacks in the league. Derek Carr is a starting quarterback in the NFL.
He will always be a great number 15
Yeah,
to
exactly.
18.
He's going to be just fine.
Right there.
He's going to get super paid and do just fine. Let's talk about a guy, the guy that we haven't talked a lot about left, who I would.
Your boy.
I would sign him. I don't know what it would take to do it. I want to know what you guys think. Marcus Mariota can play on my team.
I still don't understand why he got benched in Tennessee. Why
got beat to
Tannehill
hell. First of all, he got beat to hell.
Why did Tannehill all of a sudden become the savior in Tennessee, and Marcus was an afterthought who got him through some really good competitive years?
Because the good competitive years, they needed those wheels. And by the time they got everything settled in and that run game going strong, they needed that big-ass arm to spread the field for Derrick Henry. That's just my guess, brother. I'm not saying that's the deal, but
So he didn't have a good enough arm.
well, he's not a great passer, man. He's not a downfield
So
guy.
why the hell would we take him?
Because he's a point guard with excellent. I think he puts the ball on the money.
He's one of the most accurate quarterbacks in the
His
league.
accuracy is ferocious.
Yep.
And he's an athlete. I mean,
And you have to be an athlete in Ron Rivera.
Dude, this dude
Scott
ran
Turner
a 4.5.
system.
We've seen this guy take off and not get caught. I know that's not what we're looking for, but it's always fun to have that in 3rd and 2. So
What's it going to cost to get? Because that's another thing. I am not here to tell you I want to commit to Marcus Mariota as our next guy. I just think that the idea of a Mariota, Allen, Heineke quarterback room, I feel like we can win games with those 3 guys.
when I wrote that down today, I felt the same exact way. So I wanted to be able to tell you exactly what you just asked.
Yep.
Ken, one year left on this deal. It's a $10 million deal, but it's heavily laden with incentives. I think everyone on here has seen a bit of this. It's essentially a $20 million deal for 1 year.
Yep.
Which means that's not good.
Nope.
For anybody, not just us, but for anybody. But he took that deal because he was still trying to compete out there. He still thought he could beat out Carr and be the guy. So the incentives are 12 games played, $150,000 for every win, up to 7 or 8 wins. I think 12 wins maybe. Playoff incentives. It's through the roof, but it's too much regular season incentives for us to take on right this very moment. From what we all understand, what we're trying to do. Would you take Mariota for 1 year for $20 million when we could have Alex Smith for 24? With
So,
14 coming
no.
back. Right.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is this. We restructured that to a 2-year deal, so Mariota is the guy this year, and he's the bridge next year. I know everyone hates that word.
I know.
But if we're going to delay the process we've talked about, we need to get a guy next year. And if Mariota can be there for both. Mariota is everything that Ron Rivera wants in the culture.
Yes.
Every absolute possible box gets checked.
And go back and watch the Oakland. I want to say Oakland Raiders every single time.
Your favorite block
Vegas
of all time.
The Vegas Raiders. Go watch when Derek Carr left the field. It was a late season Monday Night Football game. Mariota came in, and again, that's the kind of quarterback we'd be looking for, a guy who comes in the game, whether he's starting for a week or two or whether he's coming on because Allen or Heineke gets hurt. He ran with reckless abandon for 15, 20 yards at a pop. He threw accurately to, they have an awesome tight end, Darren Waller. He's amazing. So but he played the kind of ball that you would expect out of Scott Turner's offense. He is absolutely capable of getting stats for us. And no, he is not the guy that we want to marry for the next 5 years. But if we're not getting Deshaun Watson, and we're not, if we didn't get Matt Stafford, we didn't. The idea that we're going to get the guy this offseason, we're not getting that guy.
Is Russell Wilson still?
Ooh,
That's going to cost
it ain't happening.
2 buttholes,
But
an ankle,
it might be worth it.
and some shin cream.
No, I don't
might
think
be
it's
worth it.
I don't think.
T.
I don't think
Deshaun
it's
Watson
worth it.
is worth it. Deshaun Watson is worth
All right.
it, and it's still not worth it.
It's too
I
much
don't
for
know.
us.
I don't know.
We're not in the spot. So Russell
just
Wilson
got here. T. Russell Wilson and Chase Young are 14 years apart.
Russell Wilson and Deshaun Watson are
Really?
great quarterbacks. Without a doubt,
33.
they can play. But where we are in the rebuilding,
12
where
years
we are in the rebuilding process is not a place where we want to
No.
be shipping off first
I
and
agree.
second rounders
Not our
and
pace.
players.
Not
we just
our
can't.
pace.
We're not. That's not where we
So
are.
all doo-doos aside,
Yep. Okay.
let's say Alex Smith says, I do want to play football, but the Washington football team still says, you do, that's great, but you're going to have to do it somewhere else. Is it going to be an Allen Heineke rookie quarterback room? Maybe
That's
Trey,
what we
It doesn't
talked
have to
about.
Trey
So
Lance,
last week we talked
Mark
about that.
Jones,
I'd rather have Mariota than
spots.
third or fourth round rookie.
I don't want a third or fourth round, and I don't want to trade
I'm-
up.
I'm talking first
No,
round,
no,
late. Trey
no,
Lance or a Mac
no.
Jones.
No one's going to be there
in that area.
I'm going to say this right now, and I would look directly into the camera for this.
Right there.
I like Mac Jones.
T likes Mac Jones. T has a better arm than Mac Jones right now.
Of course.
T is more mobile than Mac Jones right now. The only thing you don't have going for you is age, but I think you're more mobile, and I think you have a better arm.
You got it up
And
here
I
too.
swear to God,
appreciate
I
that.
can't believe after all of our quarterback conversations for 40-plus years that you like Mac Jones.
I like Mac
because I hate Mac Jones.
Yes.
I can't
also
imagine the Redskins
don't want him on
doing
our team.
Something worse. Only in the rookie pool. I don't like Mac Jones, D. He cannot
Got it.
move, and he has a terrible arm. So I just want you to know. I want you to tell me because you're a big, strong guy. He's pretty big, kind of strong. You're a big, strong arm. Drop back.
I'm not betting my house on this. I just say I
I
like
know,
him.
but you just like him because he's Darnold-ish. He doesn't have all these negatives. He hasn't been ruined yet. He's fresh.
Yeah.
All right, that's
Yeah.
fair. Because
He'll
the
be
guy's
available.
probably going to be a first-team All-Pro in year 2 for like the Cowboys, and I'm never
But
going to hear the end of it.
He's
but-
Okay,
he also might be available
Mac
at number
Jones
19.
or not Mac Jones or
Ew.
Trey
Just saying.
Trey
Of
of course
Lance
he's
or whatever.
available at 19.
Let's say
That's
we
the
do.
problem with what he's saying.
Say you take a rookie, right, and the room is Allen Heineke rookie. You're still preserving the money to spend next year.
Sure.
If it doesn't work out with any of those three.
You know, this sparks so many different conversations in my mind, but I've always said you can't take it with you. That's all.
So
If we're
having
going to really base our quarterback
take the
number
money with
on
you over the
saving
next
money
year.
for next year, I like to get my quarterback right before the
What if
season
he's not
starts,
there?
not after. Then
What if it's not the one you
I
want?
told you. I said I'm all right with these above Dudu Mendoza line scenarios that could possibly benefit for a year or two. And I will say this, after the 3 gentlemen we discussed, if we can figure out, Marcus Mariota will cost us nothing in compensation, correct? He will be a specific salary cap guy. We'll have to give up something or other. But
He's not stopping us from spending whatever it takes next year to
not
get
taking
whoever
a
we
first or a
want.
second or a third from our pocket in a million years, or else he can go eat a big bag of
There's
it.
no conversation in the front office happening where it's like, well, we really can't afford to do this because we're paying Marcus Mariota.
Right.
I don't think Marcus Mariota changed. The only thing the Marcus Mariota does, he gives us somebody that we can roll the dice with Heineke and Allen for one season. Again, I think Mariota, Allen, and Heineke quarterback room, I think we win games with our and especially if we get that linebacker in the first round.
Real quick, dude, before you get to the linebacker, let me just say that, yes, because Alex Smith, we can't rely upon if we can't rely upon the leg, which we can't because it was the calf that cost us.
Yep.
Well, and also saved us because now we know who Taylor Heineke is, possibly. But we can't rely on that leg. That's all. That's
By the
my
way,
only
AGH,
thing.
I'm not the one who wants
one.
Mac Jones. T is. I did say we want a mobile quarterback, and I agree with you. Mac is not a mobile quarterback. And again, in the same
AGH,
way that
I've
I don't
never messed that part
in
up.
the same way that I don't want Derek Carr because he doesn't fit our locker room and our culture and all that kind of stuff. I don't want Mac Jones because he doesn't fit the Redskins way, the Washington football team way that we've established on offense, which demands mobility at
2
quarterback.
years from now, we could draft a Mac Jones and our offense that has evolved under Scott Turner. I just don't think it's the time. That's all. I think out of the doo-doo blasters, Marcus Mariota fits the Ron Rivera culture to a freaking T. If you guys want to do a little research on who works hard and who tries to get better at their position, and it's on and off the field, and I'm not just talking charity. Him and his wife are friends with everyone. They're just, I mean, damn it,
They're
man.
good.
They're this type of people.
He comes off differently than Derek Carr. 100. And I don't want to make make it seem like I hate Derek Carr. I just listen to him talk.
So you think Derek Carr would kick the shit out of Marcus Mariota?
No, I think Marcus Mariota would kick the shit out of Derek Carr.
I just wanted to hear you say
And
it.
by the way,
On tape.
not only that, if Derek Carr got this within this far away from Marcus Mariota, 10 guys would pummel Derek Carr. If Derek Carr tried to get into a fight with someone else, there's not 10 guys behind Derek Carr. I just don't think people like Derek Carr.
Now it's an entourage scenario.
Yeah.
Now the whole board and us are going to have to talk about both these entourages.
Yeah, I know. You
know that, right?
I just think Marcus Mariota is the kind of player that players like, and I don't think players like Derek Carr.
Derek Carr has always been questionable and flimsy.
Yeah.
Marcus Mariota is one of the most well-esteemed, well-respected
Yeah.
position players, not quarterbacks.
And
in the
he
league.
fits our culture.
I just hope what T's worried about, that arm has got enough in it. He's only 30, 31. I think he's right there before the season starts. I think he's 30 now, 30, 31. That ain't nothing to some of these cats, but when you work with your legs 50-50, I think that takes about 5 years off the top end. Tom Brady, blah, blah, blah. Marcus Mariota plays for 8 more years, right?
Can I? Yeah. Oh, Marcus Mariota can play in this
I think
league.
he's a lifer.
He'll
not
be a
saying for
backup.
us.
He'll be Fitzpatrick at
saying-
the end of his career. I think.
All right. May I just say this? His point right now is how to figure out how to get out of Las Vegas.
Of Vegas, yeah.
So, because he signed a deal for what a starter would be, not a backup would be, and that's kind of part of the whole thing that everyone's trying to figure out. Is he going to get paid starter money, backup money? How about Ron Rivera figures that part out with all these new cats that we got, because we got a lot of them. We got a lot of guys
The thing
making
about
these choices.
Marcus Mariota that I want to reassure T about, and some people on the board who are just disgusted with this idea, and we haven't talked about Mariota a lot, and maybe they're not. Maybe disgust isn't the right word.
By the way, I'm talking Mariota at $12 million a year.
Oh,
Two.
we're not paying him
right.
quarterback, big time quarterback money. I think that we've seen under Ron Rivera and Scott Turner specifically in the last year, we've seen multiple kinds of arms. We saw Haskins, who had a cannon. We saw Alex Smith, who struggled. He threw it the ground a bunch, worm burners. He was, trying to avoid interceptions at times.
He showed both.
Alex Smith
Right.
can throw the ball. Don't get me wrong. He was doing it off the
right.
wrong leg. Kyle Allen, a different kind of thrower. And at the end of the day, Taylor Heineke is not going to inspire you with classic arm strength. So the idea that Marcus Mariota not having the Jeff George, Derek Carr cannon
He does
not turn me off at all. I think he can execute the offense in a major way. And you know who I think, if we've learned anything, Logan Thomas coming back to play tight end. You know, the Mariota, Allen, Heineke room makes Logan Thomas an All-Pro next year.
And hold up, if you think it is Mariota, that tight end room gets a little bigger as well. Because if it's Mariota, there's going to be another big old running back there to take them play action fakes or handoffs. And it'll be a different scheme. But the good thing about Scott Turner's offense, Ron Rivera's offense, what we're doing right now is it's multiple.
Yeah.
We don't need a specific quarterback. But damn, if an athletic guy ain't going to help us get through the crap that you have to get through as a young offense coming up in the game with a top 5 defense, which means that offense better get faster quicker because when camp starts, they're going to get embarrassed. Do you know what this defense is going to do to this offense to start off-season workons and
It's going to be
OTAs?
silly.
What people do not understand is this offense is so far behind. Everyone on the board does.
So
Holy moly.
We'll continue the quarterback conversation on a weekly basis.
Apparently we have.
Let's wrap it up with staying on offense. Does anybody have any I've been saying Kenny Galladay forever, and I do love Kenny Galladay, but I have another name of somebody who I'd love to see come our way, and it is linked to a guy I've been talking about. So I don't know what it would take to get Corey Davis if we lose out on some of these other guys like the Godwins and the Kenny Galladays, and people are talking about Curtis Samuel on the board. Curtis Samuel's a great player, and he's going to get paid, and he's going to be just fine. I love the idea of Corey Davis on the outside, opposite side of Terry McLaurin. I hesitate to use the word consolation prize. He hasn't blown up the way top 5, top 10 first round wide receivers have done in the past. But he also didn't bust out like your Kevin Whites who just didn't make it. They got drafted top 10 and then all of a sudden they're done. Even your Darius Hayward-Bays for that matter. Corey Davis is a huge body. You saw what he did once A.J. Brown became a major player in that Tennessee offense, and you also saw. It was really after Mariota left and Tannehill came in. But
because Tannehill's arm
can
hang with Davis.
I know, but I love Davis. I don't know that
he's a hell of a football player.
Yeah.
And you know why I love that you love him? He's not a hell of a fantasy guy. He's not. He's a hell of a
football
effing football player.
He is a football player through and through. He's a big body. He's physical. He does his job.
Yeah. If fantasy comes up with that stat, wide receiver pancake blocks equal 1 point, Corey Davis becomes a top 3 round pick.
I love him. I think that Tennessee would be stupid beyond whatever to let him go.
It's just their salary cap shit.
They're gonna have to make choices
like everybody else.
They're gonna have to make choices.
Cut and trim, and the receiver position is such, man. I don't want to drop. Look, Curtis Samuel to me is the perfect addition. But here's the problem. He's a perfect addition for us. What we got, we can figure out. We got some guys. This is the perfect addition after a 4-year rookie deal who's about to get paid.
Yep.
Do we really want to pay a dude $15 million that we just paid Steven Sims a ham sandwich and some popcorn to do? And everyone's going to be mad that I said Steven Sims, that the Steven Sims from last year or this year or whoever. I don't want to bring in a Crowder at $15 million. I don't want that slot to go up.
Nope.
I want to save some money on our receiver position with some young guys that can get it done. As long as we run the ball the way I want to run the ball and beef up that O-line, we don't need to be dropping the $100 million on a wideout.
I'm dropping $100 million on a wideout.
But who?
Kenny Galladay first and foremost.
All right, I'll do it for Chris Godwin. I'll do it for Kenny Galladay. $100 million for both of them, I get, but they're going to get it from.
Do you think Corey Davis is going to get $100 million?
No.
So that's why I love Corey Davis.
That's why I know you love him.
Yeah, I don't think he's got a $100 million guy either.
No.
And I'm going to be realistic, T, because I want Kenny Galladay, and we have the money that it's going to take to sign him. But what we are well, the lesson that we have learned is Kenny Galladay needs to one us. He's the kind of player that needs
and
to one
when
us.
you don't know who your quarterback's going to be,
That's right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
it's hard to get a guy like Galladay
That's right.
to say, okay,
That's right.
I'm with you.
And when that does happen, doesn't it cause you some worry? When
Oh,
Galladay's like, yeah, let me take that 17-man. Oh, wait a minute. Who's the quarterback again?
Yeah.
Yep. I
Take
know.
it easy, Galladay. Let's just time this up real quick so First Amendment Sports doesn't carve us like turkeys. Yes, I'll give Galladay everything.
I would too. He's
Same like
got to want us
Stafford.
back.
If he doesn't want to be here, he ain't worth a dime.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. And obviously, Stafford didn't want to be here, but he fit. He fit the box checking points. And
Corey
so does
Davis
Galladay.
fits what we
so
do.
does Godwin, dude. I'd take
And so does Godwin.
heartbeat.
The thing about
Holy
Godwin's going to cost
moly.
that money, and he's
I
going to play a
know,
slot
I know.
a lot.
I know. Well, because he can.
I know. All right, so we're about 50-plus minutes in. We have defined where the skid mark rests on that Dudu Mendoza line. I think Mariota is the only one of the people that we talked about that we would A, put above the line, and B, welcome into our locker room. And because and again, of the people that aren't changing the future of our franchise.
And just cash, not draft capital.
Not draft capital.
And-
Not going
and
to
guess
cost that
what?
for us.
That if you think about just that sentence, it certainly makes a hell of a lot of sense, especially when you know you can get out of this deal. Even if you restructure for 2, you can always get out for 1. You know that's some fun because it ain't going to be an $11 million get out. It'll be ain't nothing, and I like that about Mariota. I do. I don't love it.
Good
He's
point.
a cool cat, though, man. He's a tough man.
Good point by AGH. Rivera does know Curtis Samuels very well,
I know.
and that's going to always be a factor.
He's a badass. Curtis Samuels
He
is
is.
a badass who's perfectly built for our offense because he was trained
Yeah.
professionally in only this offense. Damn, but I thought that would mean we could get him on the cheap. But listen, man, $15 million for Curtis Samuel.
That's a lot.
I'll hand it off to Isaiah and Terry and them. And,
I love Isaiah. He can be on my team.
Yeah, but whoever's with Terry McLaurin is going to win.
And Kelvin
Correct?
Harmon is coming back. Greg Martin,
know.
great
I love that.
pick there, and I do think he's
love
going to
that.
factor for us. So we have help on the way. I think the key is that we don't waste draft capital to address the quarterback position this season. And I think that's like the most controversial issue to me in this offseason, and you said it best 10 seconds ago, Kevin, and that's it. I mean, Matt Stafford, sure, I would have done it. I would not be regretting it 1 second. I'm not doing the Deshaun Watson deal, and I'm not doing the Derek Carr deal, and I'm not giving up draft picks for people that teams are trying to get rid of.
Before we get off, let me just say this. You know, the NFL has said you're not allowed to trade 4 first rounders.
That's right.
Right before we started the show, the Carolina Panthers, not specifically, came out and said 3 first rounders and Christian McCaffrey for Deshaun Watson. That was my alert. 3 first rounders and Christian McCaffrey. Now, that could be blowing smoke, but apparently Carolina has said, we want Deshaun Watson. We don't give a shit. We won't.
And
we
we're
won't
gonna
fill
let-
the punter
Guess what? They're going to get him.
or a kicker.
And they're going to let the best weapon that Deshaun Watson could possibly even need or get
Well, to get what
pass him in the night
you
while
gotta,
they switch
You got to
teams?
give up something for something.
giving up Christian McCaffrey is not.
I like
something.
Christian
He also
McCaffrey.
missed most of the season, which is obviously leaves a bad taste in Rule's
Yeah.
mouth from his
Plus,
first.
the maximum amount of firsts.
The big loser in that deal is McCaffrey. You know, he's going to a team that they're getting rid of everyone. They don't have anything. They traded away their best offensive lineman. They traded away.
I
They got
understand
rid of
why
their
you're
best
sad,
offensive
but
player.
it's not us anymore. That's
Yeah.
McCaffrey's problem, not Marincola.
Good God! Talk about the worst news you could wake up to ever. On the cusp of being considered the best player on offense
And just
in the league.
Consider Deshaun Watson no longer the ability of Washington football team's property.
That'd be great. All right. Good job tonight.
Really?
Go Caps. By the way, we got a big win tonight. The board's been keeping us posted on the Caps score. Once again, having a great season, Washington Caps.
Leaves are exciting to watch now.
By the way, I know we don't spend a lot of time on the Wizards, and this is a total DC sports show. Here's like the inside NBA take on the Wizards that no one knows about. In the last 2 weeks, they're top 10 in defense, which like blows me away that's even possible because we gave up like 150 points a game, rolling out of bed the first like month and a half of the season. Now all of a sudden we play defense for 2 straight weeks. That's unreal to me.
Ken, you didn't check the NBA schedule, did you?
No, I know, but we got blasted by the Knicks and Raptors. But we took a couple wins. Bradley Beal took a day off. But I'm just saying,
don't get all defensive. I was just going to suggest that
the Wizards
there was
have
an exhibition game.
Wizards are getting
Bradley Beal's a
defensive.
man. I love the Wizards, man. I'm done.
I'm just saying they've been a little bit more exciting in the last 2 weeks.
8 wins. We got to get to double digits.
I love the Wizards. I love them.
They're just not exciting.
Let the season unfold. When Westbrook gets a little healthier, triple doubles. If he gets a triple double and Beal gets 40 plus in one game with a win, that would be a nice start.
And I'm a big fan of the rookie.
Was sold. That's what we were taught.
Our rookie can play.
He'll get to this.
Yep.
And I know the Fresh Prince of Tel Aviv.
The Fresh Prince of Tel Aviv. He can play ball. It is.
And he's tough as
listen,
shit.
We're Washington Wizards fans, and for those of you who are Washington football team fans, but you're from somewhere else, so that's not your NBA team, consider yourself, I guess, kind of lucky. It's been a tough ride for us here in DC for some time on the hardwood, but.
Your choice is better than ours. But
we love our boys, and it's going to be. And Robert Cohen, you know what? You deserve this. You deserve us to give this some serious thought. The last thought, Robert Cohen says we need a QB free week. I think that's fair. Let's
do it.
Let's do it. Let's have a QB free week next week.
So that means all caps and whiz next week.
All caps and whiz. And
fuck you guys.
no QB talk. We're gonna talk about everything but the quarterback position next week. We're gonna get back to it hard in 2 weeks. But because Robert Cohen, he's been with us for a long time, he says that, and that's what we're gonna do. Greg Martin, AGH. E.O. Anderson, Kevin Gahegan, he said. He said it was Gahegan.
It is.
I thought it was Gahogan.
I've been drinking.
Yeah, it's Gahegan. It's Gahegan. Greg, Rhett,
I said
AGH, James. We're coming back next week, and we're going to do it QB free with our hands behind our backs. It's going to be interesting. No one's hands are being tied behind our backs. Right. Although his hands might be tied by his wire. I don't know what's been going on down here.
That's why let's just go shotgun next week. No hands. Free.
That's the offense. You were under center guy. You were a shotgun guy.
And I was the center for his under center offense.
Yeah, that's true.
And he was nowhere to be found when I went no huddle. Son of a bitch.
That's a fact.
Argue. Try and argue.
We've gone a minute too long.
We've gone a minute too long. Until next week, we appreciate you guys. Come on back. Again, give us that subscription. If you've been hanging out with us all night tonight, then surely you can click that button. It's free, helps us out. You get a chance to learn about what we're up to on a weekly basis. It's generally pretty fun. We like to talk about all of our favorite teams in D.C. This is a football-centric show, though, and there is no off-season for us when it comes to rooting for the Burgundy and Gold. Until next week, he's Tim Strachan.
All I got out of our conversation is I don't want to accept doo-doo. I don't want someone else's doo-doo. And Sam Darnold and Gardner Minshew are the least amount of doo-doo that I would be acceptable to taking. Okay. I don't know if that helped us.
I think you
nailed it. I
nailed
don't know if it got us any further,
it.
if it made us feel any better. But I'll be here next week to not talk about QBs.
He's Kevin Ricka.
Tuesdays have been the new Fridays for the last 6 years, but I'm having a very hard time, even during a pandemic, figuring out this whole Wednesday, Saturday shit. Help me out here, fellas.
It's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's tough.
Is tomorrow Saturday?
It feels like it. It might be. It's right here. It is. Just make it happen up top.
I already know it's not.
I know. I'm sorry, but eat. Make a good dinner. Watch a movie. Get excited.
He's trying to lose weight. You can't make a good dinner.
But you got to go to Flavortown, don't you? You got to live in Flavortown.
I know this. If Marcus Mariota gets to town, that Polynesian cuisine is delicious.
Okay, now we can agree on that. I do love some Polynesian cuisine. I tell you what, next Tuesday night, you have my word. No quarterback talk. 1 week of no quarterback talk. It's going to be hard.
And a pig with an apple in its mouth.
Pork,
right in front of your computer.
noodles, that awesome flavor, that Asian, Polynesian, South Pacific flavor. That's what I'm talking about. Maybe we get a sponsor. Anyone out there who owns one of those restaurants, love to have you put some of that food on this table next week. That'd be awesome. Why not?
I like it. I'll bring the apple for the pig.
On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I'm Ken Marangolo. This was, thank God, it's Tuesday. See you guys next
Thank you,
week.
guys.
We're
These
still
guys-
live.
You guys are the best, man. I keep laughing. Every time I look over, I laugh too hard. I know, but I can't resist. Snow on